Good morning, everyone. It's not every day that I step into a lab surrounded by Icelandic chants and strangely glowing instruments. I love it. I think this is what climate innovation should feel like. Slightly uncomfortable, ambitious, and experimental. We're not here to tell old stories. I'm actually here to ask a rather simple question. How do we know that we are solving anything at all? So in the lab of planet Earth, things are going wrong. Science tells us that we've transgressed 6 of the 9 planetary boundaries. And these are climate change, biodiversity loss, freshwater overuse, chemical pollutants, nitrous circles, and then land use change. And so we're not facing just a climate crisis. We are actually facing an everything crisis. And this planet is losing its buffering capacity. But still, we are investing like it's 1999. Investments into green solutions are skyrocketing, but a lot of that capital is allocated blindly. Investors pour millions into green solutions without really knowing, does this reduce emissions or just shift them? Is this really part of the solution? Or is it just part of the green noise that's also out there? And the window of opportunity to drive that transformation is really small, and it's rapidly declining. So if we don't get smarter, we are risking to waste this very decisive decade now on things that might make us feel good but change nothing. At Planet A, we centered our investment thesis around one. So we centered it around one central belief, which is science takes the lead. So before we do an investment, the internal science team at Planet A Ventures conducts a consequential lifecycle assessment. And that allows you to not only look at the environmental footprint of a product or service, so from the extraction of the raw materials to the use case, to the transport, to the very end of life, but takes it one step further and really addresses the question, what does change in the wider system if that innovation scales? Does it replace harmful incumbents? What kind of feedstocks are being replaced? What kind of material streams are being replaced? Does it come with negative side effects? Does it lock us into new dependency? And that systems level thinking really is critical. And we not only share how we do it, but we share the results of all of our assessments publicly online. So all of our scientific impact assessments are on our website for accountability. Let me give you an example. We invested into Traceless. They produce bio-based materials made from agricultural residues. And the LCA demonstrates that they have the potential to avoid 10 million tons of CO2 equivalents over 10 years. Not a hope, not an estimate, but a bottom-up calculation. Or take another of our portfolio companies, Greentech. Greentech produces synthetic e-fuels for the aviation industry. And the LCA clearly demonstrates that their product reduces greenhouse gas emissions by 63% per megajoule compared to fossil fuels. And so with this quantitative evidence, the founder gained credibility with investors, with customers, and with us. Climate tech is maturing, but the bar for what's considered green is still dangerously low. Science-led investments really help us to understand, first, to avoid the hype traps, but also to hold ourselves accountable, and what's most important, to fund those solutions that really move the needle. Because let's be honest, many of the climate technologies do come with trade-offs. So an innovator in timber, for instance, might cut greenhouse gas emissions massively, but might contribute to biodiversity loss. Or someone setting up a synthetic meat company might help save methane, but also double water use. If we don't invest with science, we don't see these trade-offs. But if we do, we make better bets. So let me leave you with that. If we want to help build the next generation of impactful green tech, climate tech startups, if we want to change systems and not just symptoms, we need to invest not only with capital, but with scientific insights. And we don't really have the time to guess. We need to know. And I think this climate lab here on stage is more than a creative backdrop to me. It's really what climate investments should be about: to be humble, to be experimental, to be scientific and curious. Let's make every euro, every krona, every US dollar invested count. Thank you.